Yuzuru Hanyu, Simone Biles, Michael Phelps, Kerry Walsh-Jennings, what's the secret to their success? And how can you too, yes you watching right now, become a more confident athlete today by avoiding these 5 mistakes? After years and years of being a competitive athlete in both the sports of figure skating and volleyball, I've certainly learned a thing or two about the power of this thing up there and how being mentally strong was my secret to winning a national gold medal in figure skating this year. Hello friends at internet. If you are new here, hi, hello, welcome. My name is Kathy. I'm a 25-year-old competitive figure skater and ex-competitive volleyball player living in New York City. You can also find me on Instagram where I share more of my sports ups and downs there as well. Let's jump right into the 5 biggest mental health mistakes that athletes make and how you can avoid them to increase performance and decrease your anxiety and stress. Number 1 is one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen athletes make, and that is not treating your mental health and mental training as seriously as your physical health and physical training. Over the course of the many years of my sports career, I've witnessed this in so many of my peers and in myself also. We often over-index on physical training and overlook our mental health and mental training. Your brain is as much of an important muscle as it is to train than your physical muscles that are needed to be used to perform your sports, and arguably if not more so. I've met so many athletes who are so fit, so trained, so primed for success at competitions, yet when it actually comes to competition time, they mentally fall apart. When you observe the Olympians on the big screens, so the greatest of greats, Yuzuru Hanyu, Michael Phelps, Simone Biles, Kerry Walsh-Jennings, what separates them from other athletes are obviously a sheer amount of raw talent, but also years and years of mental training and mental strength building. Mental health and mental training in sports is something that is not really shown on TV, and not a lot of athletes talk about it. We just think these incredible athletes and Olympians just have an iron will of being able to execute and perform when the time comes. You don't necessarily see the hours and hours of mental training that they put into this behind the scenes. So with that said, don't slack on the mental work. Make sure you meditate, go to sports therapy if you can, do your visualizations, pinpoint the root causes of your performance anxiety, and create a concrete plan about how to tackle them. Number 2 biggest mistake is treating your competition as your nemesis rather than your inspiration. I know you're gonna be like, wow, that is such a cheesy piece of advice, but let me explain. If we were to be honest with ourselves, we often think of the word competition or competitors with a generally negative light and negative connotation. It's almost as if your competitors are this big, large, evil, scary thing that is out to get you. And it is certainly a big mistake that I made when I first started figure skating competitively. 1, I didn't know anyone in my sport, so that alone was incredibly intimidating. But I almost myself purposely kept it that way because I felt like maybe the more I knew my competitors and who they are, the more I was going to psych myself out and automatically start comparing what they could do that I couldn't do. My sports therapist once gave me the advice that I should look at my competition as my inspiration. And I'm not gonna lie, when she first told me that, I was like, you want me to do what? But that advice truly helped me because at the end of the day, most people are into sport because they love it and they're passionate about it. And they too, just like you, want to get better at it every day. If someone is better than you, use that as inspiration to fuel your need to get better and progress every day. And that's the beauty of sportsmanship. In theory, when it's competition time, when it's game time, we all bring our best forth such that we can achieve our common goal of all pushing our sport forward and also pushing ourselves forward. And if you don't understand sportsmanship, just go watch Haikyuu. If you know, you know. And please do note that not all of your competitors will think this way and think this way about you, but that doesn't stop you from making peace with how you see them and view them in your own mind. In addition, taking it a step further, I think personally becoming friends with my competitors was one of the best decisions I ever made in figure skating. Despite what I thought, knowing my competitors as people first rather than athlete first really helped me humanize and understand them better and become less scared of them. Because at the end of the day, they're also human, they're not perfect, they also go through their ups and downs and frustrations. You just may not see it. If you put yourself in their shoes, when's the last time you want to express frustrations and feelings of shame and failure in front of your competitors? Certainly not a fun thing to do and not a thing that a lot of people want to openly do, right? So in short, stop viewing your competitors as your nemesis. It will truly save you so much brain power and mental energy that you can use to actually executing your own performance. Number 3, another huge mistake is not believing in your own ability to win and visualizing it. This is something that I've seen and experienced with athletes at all levels. If you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect others, whether it's judges, teammates, coaches, to also believe in you? You don't show up to training every day with a mentality that you're going to lose. You show up to training every day because you want to win and you want to get better. Why wouldn't you take that same mentality you have in training with you to competition? The mind-body connection is so powerful, and I swear to God, this is just not voodoo. And this is coming from someone who never believed in all the mindfulness practice stuff until I actually saw an impact in my own performance. If you don't compete with the mentality that you can win, your body cannot physically execute and perform to the highest level that you have trained for. In proper Gen Z terms, there is a science to being the Lulu. For my skating competitions, no matter how many competitors are in my events, and trust me, when you're in a ladies event, there is a lot of people, or how good I know the competitors are to be, I still visualize that I'm going to win the gold medal and I'm going to give the performance of a lifetime. Regardless or not, if I actually think that there is a high or low possibility that I can actually achieve that. It's all about tricking your mind and your brain into thinking that you can achieve that. And number 4 is the constant need to strive for perfection. Coming from a serial perfectionist herself, I will tell you that this mistake has haunted me for so long in my sports career. I always felt like I had a strong need for perfection in order to validate that this was a good performance in my volleyball match, or this was a good skating performance overall. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I was raised by Asian parents and it was literally beaten into my soul that I just need to be perfect in everything that I do. But I'm here to tell you that there is a serious power to letting go and releasing the need of perfection. I promise it will feel like you have moved Mount Everest off your freaking shoulders. Every time I make a mistake in the middle of my figure skating routine in a competition, I automatically disregard my mistake and start thinking about what is coming up next in my routine. And every time I miss a pass in the middle of a match in volleyball, I tell myself that I will get the next one. If you simply almost make yourself a reserve or a bank for mistakes, that in a way can help you release all the pressure of feeling like you always have to be perfect and everything has to be in line. Because let me tell you, that is the most suffocating feeling in the world. Feeling like one mistake is going to cost you everything is 100% one of the biggest mental health mistakes that all athletes make. So many athletes, after just making one mistake in a match or a performance, start mentally shutting down, thinking it's over. But until the last point is played in your match and until the music finally ends for your entire performance or routine, there is still so much in the moment that you have to push yourself to get through. You simply cannot expect yourself to do all of that perfectly. It's just unrealistic. If you set realistic expectations and understand that despite all the hard work and training that went into getting you as close to perfect as possible, know that mistake will and could always happen. And there's also a factor of luck as well. The more important part is being able to mentally conquer them when they do happen instead of eliminating all possibilities of it happening. And lastly, number 5 is when you focus too strictly on your own performance. I know you're probably like, I'm an athlete, why wouldn't I hyper-focus on my own performance? This is because sometimes when you're too in the weeds and too focused on solely your own performance, then you lose sight of the bigger picture of why you're here, why you're doing this, and what is the ultimate end goal. For me, this is something that I struggled a lot with in my volleyball days. Even though volleyball is a team sport involving 6 players on the court at all times, I struggled with feeling like whenever I made a bad pass or I shanked the ball, that I costed my whole team a point. And let me tell you, that feeling is the absolute worst. It's an overwhelming feeling of the worst emotions of guilt and shame, which then triggers a fear response, and then ensues the performance anxiety, and then boom, you're passing like shit for the rest of the game. Notice in that stream of consciousness example that I just mentioned, the focus was strictly on me, and me. My mistake, I screwed up, it's my fault. My brain is so hinged upon that one mistake that I can't see beyond it. And that's when you start losing sight of your broader purpose. Something I started doing instead of focusing so much on my own performance is thinking about the bigger picture and thinking about my purpose. My broader purpose as a libero or a defensive specialist is to set my setter up for success. Just simply reframing a thought that way can help you relieve so much pressure and go back to the larger purpose of why you're doing this in the first place. And this is not just something that you can apply to a team sport like volleyball, but also applies in individual sports like skating. When I skate, I try not to think super hard about executing each of my elements, but rather I try to think about the larger picture of how do I deliver the best performance that I can for the audience, with the hope that maybe, just maybe, I'll inspire someone out there sitting in the stands today. And that's what keeps me grounded back to the bigger picture of why I love skating and why I still compete. With all that said, I can truly understand and empathize with you all from being an athlete myself in both an individual sport and a team sport, that performance anxiety and mental health struggles in sports can be so debilitating, frustrating, and impact so much of our performance. If you want to see more sports, skating, or volleyball videos, please hit the subscribe button down below. It will literally just take 1 second and I will love you 3,000. Like and comment down below what you would like to see from me next, and your next idea may just be the next video that I make. See you guys all next time, and reminder, deep breath in, deep breath out, and remember, your performance does not define your worth. Everything is gonna be okay. I promise. It's so hot. I can't turn on the AC because I'm filming. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. I hope you guys can't see me sweating through the camera. I feel really disgusting right now. Everything about being a YouTuber is great.
Boy, your honey sickly sweet, keeps me coming, got me weak. You could kill me, I'd still